Hey, what's up, everyone? How is everybody doing? This is Dr. Mephisto. We're here in Toronto. It's -6 degrees, and I'm on my way to get a very special guest for the second episode of the ride. And don't forget, Saturday, February 23rd at Luanda House, we're running the second edition of Ubuntu with a special guest, DJ Shakti. Let's go!
What's up, man?
Hey, what's going on? You good?
I'm good, man.
Yeah. Good to see you.
Good to see you too, man.
DJ.
Is this close properly?
Yeah. Open the button there, and then close. There you go.
Got you.
All right, man. Just present yourself quickly or not quickly, up to you. For people we don't know.
Where's the camera?
It's right
oh,
here.
right there. My bad. My name's DJ Damiger. A lot of people know me as Dami, and a lot of people know me as DJ Damiger as well. Well, what do you want me to say, man?
Well, where do you come from? Are you from Toronto originally?
Originally I'm from Lagos, Nigeria, representing the Yoruba people of Nigeria in Lagos. I came down here a few years ago, currently based in Toronto, Canada. That's why I met my mans here.
Yeah.
Spun at 1 or 2 events together. But yeah, that's a brief bio.
So what's your specialty? Like, I'm guessing you're into African music mostly, but probably there's more to know about this.
Yeah, well, I'm into a lot of African music. I was born and bred with African music. But just coming down here, you kind of like forced to embrace a lot more, right? Become basically the international DJ, or become the overall DJ if you want to, right? I like to embrace a lot of musical genres. So primarily I'm an Afrobeats DJ.
Yeah.
But I definitely can spin a whole lot more.
And I mean, like, how was it to move here? Like, you started spinning right away when you moved to Toronto, or?
Yeah, so when I was in Lagos, I was a DJ in Lagos. I was a wedding DJ, I was a concert DJ, radio DJ. You just do a lot of DJing down there. Moving down here was moving my life down here, and I had such a big DJ set. It was a CDJ SX.
Okay.
CDJ, sorry. Well, the Pioneer CDJs, which are huge. And I didn't know what I was coming to meet down here, right? Because it was a new world to me. It was a new experience. I hadn't been to Canada before, so I had to sell my equipment down in Nigeria. It was kind of emotional that I had to sell something that I didn't know what I was going to meet. But I came here, and then a few months later, I was able to acquire new ones, the controllers, at least to get me started. And I started booking gigs down here as well. I just needed a few months to settle.
That's cool. What was your first event in Toronto?
My first event, so I was in Oshawa first. So Oshawa is a city just in the Greater Toronto area, GTA. And I was in school. I was doing my post-grad, and the first event I got booked for was actually a house party.
Okay.
So we had like this promoters down there that used to just throw house parties, and the biggest house parties you actually ever see. Okay. Right. Shout out to North Fifth Entertainment, that's the name, and they used to throw the biggest, and I happened to be the DJ at these parties. And I hadn't, back in Nigeria, not like you're exposed so much to house party culture like that, right? It's like much more outside parties or hall, like parties inside a hall and stuff like that. You never just get the close-knit house parties, right? So that was a different experience to me, right? It's and then now you're not just playing for Africans, right? You're playing for people from different cultures. So that's where I started to have to acquire more music apart from my Afrobeats, right? So you're spinning. I came here with a little bit of Afrobeats, a little bit of this and that, a little bit of dancehall, a little bit of hip hop. So when you play for those type of people, you know you have to expand your list, right?
Yeah.
You're playing for the young people, so you know you have to be current. You have to be recent with your music. You have to download what came out yesterday and have it for them, right? So yeah, it was a whole different experience. It exposed me to a lot more. It challenged me in different ways, and then that basically just prepped the way for me going forward.
Yeah. So actually, well, two questions. First is, how did it go for you, your first event? Like, were you satisfied? Like, was it a instant success or?
Well, I think I thrilled the crowd with what I had, even if it wasn't much, right? I got a great response from the crowd. I think it was a really great event, actually. But I wasn't satisfied with myself.
Yeah.
It's a different thing when the crowd is good, but it's a different thing as a DJ when you want perfection, right?
Yeah.
And I wasn't satisfied, and the reason why I wasn't satisfied is because I didn't think I had enough to throw the crowd the way I wanted them to. You know, there's a point where you can throw the crowd, but there's a point where you know you can do better sometimes, right? You know that you can take them from climax to heaven, right? Right? That type of stuff, right? So that was it for me. But I think it was a good party overall, anyways.
I see.
Yeah.
And my second question is, coming from Lagos, where I mean, like, the music is obviously different. Like, are you like, do you dig the music that people are expecting here, or is it like, you know what I mean? Like, they, like, personally, there's a lot of music that people like or expect that I hate.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And sometimes I find it difficult to even have to get that music. You know?
Yeah.
So what's your experience with this with respect to, like, coming to Canada and having to play potentially music you hate, what you don't like?
I think it's a regular DJ experience, right? Most of the time you're in a club, you're playing there's songs that DJs like.
Yeah.
And we would love to play, but we can only play in our heads, right? Because some of the things we like, people actually don't like. I'm like, and you're like, why don't you like this? This actually has a good beat, has everything that a good song should have, right? But my experience with that was, I mean, you just you deal with the requests as is, right? And we now have technology, right? We have the ability to get music on the go, right? So we have all these integrations with our musical softwares that make it easier for us to get music on the go and to just respond to the crowd, or respond to requests, or respond to however it is. I'm not sure if I answered your question correctly.
Well, no, the question is more like, I mean, like, I'm guessing the music that people expect when you were in Lagos versus the music that people expect here is way different.
It's a lot different.
Well, I'm a little biased when I explain this question because I'm deep into my exploration of African music these days, and I mean, like, I get so much joy out of it. And compared to the watered down commercial hip hop that I hear here constantly, I find it, just knowing that people constantly want this kind of like empty music. Yeah. So I was just wondering, like, what was if it was like a shock, like feeling that you have to play all those music that are not as rich.
Well, I guess my only basis for comparison would be playing for Africans in Toronto. Because that's what I was used to back home, right?
See.
And I mean, it's a lot of the same things that apply. It's just a lot of the music coming here is watered down, right? It's not what is current down there that is being played here. It's only very recently that people have had this like real recent appreciation for current and happening music. But back then it wasn't so, right? So there was that. There was just it was a different experience. Trust me. It was just like, okay, I find that this music doesn't apply, but this one does. So you just have to find what fits per event, right?
Yeah.
And the more you play for at least maybe the same set of people or a different set of people, or maybe let's just say the same set of people, the more you know what fits, right? As for the type of music you play, right? So that was my experience.
And you find it difficult to educate people with respect to music in the city?
Well, a lot of these things are commercial, right? It's really, really. You're given if you're playing with other DJs, you're given a 1 hour set. You try as much as possible to start with start a decent set, right? Start what you plan to start with, right? But many times you find that the crowd you're expecting is not the crowd that really comes. There's so many things that change on the spot, right? There's so many dynamics of the party that you have to be prepared for as a DJ, right? So sometimes you want to start out telling a story, but you just kind of have to adjust based on the time, especially when you're playing for a set of people that are impatient with what the DJs want to play. I'm sure you find this all the time, right? Like you're like, and it also depends on the time of the night you come in, right?
Actually, not really, because I'm a special case because I stayed away from the club industry because I don't want to play for people that are not necessarily open-minded to music. Yeah. So that's why I produce my own stuff. So I'm a bit of a special case, but I definitely need to invite you to my event anyway.
Absolutely, absolutely. Because I want to tell a story with my music.
That's what we want, right?
I want to start from the basics, and I want to educate people. Like, this is where the songs came from. This is where the sounds came from. And I want you to enjoy it, right? So I want it to be enjoyable. But many times when you have a commercial, a lot of people come to the club. I primarily play in the clubs, and I'm also a wedding DJ. And so most of what I do is commercial anyways. It's fit to the customer, it's fit to the client, it's fit to the club goer, right?
So it's work.
So it's work, right? It's like you have to be prepared. You have the first 5 songs you play have to be like the songs that get people turned up, right? And you don't even care. Like, you're just like, okay, play this song. It came out yesterday. People love it. Boom. That's how it goes. I love it. I love DJing, but I don't necessarily enjoy that part of DJ. Right? So having to play music that I don't necessarily want to play, but just because it gets the crowd going. Right?
That's the thrill. It's just to make people excited. So with respect to this, like with all the events you did in Toronto, like, is there one that just come out of all of them that you really felt like you could express yourself?
Well, I'm not sure if you know, I host my open parties as well.
Okay,
right?
no, I didn't
summer
know.
Parties, Aphrodisiac.
I had the same name for a jam once.
Oh, okay.
No, it was Aphrodisiac, but with an F.
Oh, okay. Mine was Aphrodisiac. I hosted a couple of parties last summer.
PH or F?
It was AF.
Okay. So we had the same trick.
I guess we named our parties different. It's the same, right? Well, it was a summer thing last year, and when you tend to host your own parties, you get your own type of crowd, right? And you can basically do what you want, entertain as you wish, right? And at least people you entertain based on because you most likely started the party, right? And you have enough time to even express yourself through a set, right? But apart from those parties, I would say Sarah Jane's party too was another one. The Afro House. That one, I got a crowd. There was a crowd there that seemed to really really be open to music, really open to new music. I played a couple of parties for TK Smooth. So his parties
shout out to TK.
His parties too are like that. People are generally open to music, open to new music as well, and open to what you have to play as a DJ. So there's a difference between when the crowd is coming from the music and when the crowd is coming from the DJ, for the DJ. Right?
Exactly.
So when they're coming for you as a DJ, and they're like, okay, we trust this guy, we know this guy's going to play what. And well, I would say a couple of weddings too that I play at, because usually people book me based on what they see about me, and they tell the crowd, okay, this DJ is coming, he's coming with this type of set. So when you can see, like, you can look through his page and see what he's about. So people generally trust me in situations like that. So I can tell a story. I would detect the flow of how that event is going to go, right? And I mean, that's
which is
That's
big,
thrilling
right?
to me. It's big.
It's big because it's their wedding, right?
Exactly.
Hold on. Okay.
Yeah, I think you go this way.
No, I think it can go both
Okay,
ways.
there's the signs here, right?
Let's not get into a car accident.
Yeah, it's nice to know that people trust you that people can trust you. When you get to that level of DJing where people generally just trust you with the event. I mean, when it comes to a wedding, you get the bride always being like nervous on the day before.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, please, you have to do a good job. But that's just generally brides, right? They're
That's
just
Toronto
afraid.
too, right?
They're just afraid that shit is gonna happen, right?
I mean, like that's Toronto too. It's like a huge wedding business. The market is crazy here. It's so much formatting around, making it, the day in your life. But I talked to a bunch of wedding planners, and they're like, everything is centered on the bride, and yeah,
absolutely. It's their day,
crazy.
right? They pay you so much, so you can make the day, you can bless the day for them.
Yeah.
And whether you like it or not, whether they like it or not, or whether anyone likes it or not, the DJ is central.
Yeah, definitely.
Very much central to the events like that. No matter how much they try to downplay it, or they try to downplay you as a DJ, for example, right? You're like, without me, people would come eat and drink, and they would ask for music, right? And if you don't have anything to show, then, well, too bad, right?
Definitely, man.
So,
yeah, and I think people take that for granted and don't understand how central the DJ is, and
absolutely.
So related to this, is there any you don't need to throw any names, but is there in all the venue you worked at some venue you would never work at anymore?
I try to keep a good relationship with all the promoters I work with. So I don't necessarily venues I want to work at.
Or conditions that you wouldn't accept anymore.
Well,
out of the financial aspect, I guess. Because we all agree to this.
I wouldn't want to be booked with another DJ that I know is bringing a similar set as I am.
Oh, really?
Right? Like, if this is, let's just say, for example, right, this is an Afrobeat event. We're both from Nigeria. We're both from the same culture, the same tribe.
Yeah.
They're most likely going to play the same thing as I am. It's not like I'm not diverse enough to play something different, but I would love the events to, or the people, the crowd to appreciate each DJ for what the DJ is bringing, right? And if you have multiple DJs that are bringing the same thing, then everyone's gonna be like, oh, I don't like that party. I didn't like the party because the DJs ended up playing the same things, right?
I don't know. I find people just are really satisfied by hearing the same shit over and over.
Really?
In Toronto, yeah.
Really?
Look, I come from the underground hip hop scene, from Paris, and coming here, I was hearing, I discovered something called the underground mainstream scene. Even in the underground, they have those mainstream songs that they play all the time. Poison Bell, Del Devo, Tribe Called Quest. What is it? Scenario. They all play the same thing. So no, I think there's a lot of nostalgia too, because especially in the underground, in the hip hop, there's those eras that people are nostalgic about. They don't think the new era is good enough or whatever. Yeah. So even in the old school, they play the same shit over and over.
Well, it's you can play the same music over and over a range of parties.
Yeah.
Right? For example, people want to listen to that same type of music. Yes. But in the same party, right? You shouldn't get more than one DJ playing the same song.
I see what
right?
you mean.
And that's what I try, because I try to brand myself a little bit uniquely, right? So it's I wouldn't like that type of situation. So most likely when I'm in an event, I always ask who I'm paired with, who's the other DJs, who's this, who's that, and then I try to advise the promoters on, okay, you know what, maybe you should get this person, you get that person, you get that person. So just so you have some diversity in your event, right? Yeah. Because promoters kind of ask me for advice as well. Okay, on what type of music should be played here? What type of this type of crowd? What type of DJs you think we should bring? And I'm like, okay. fair enough. This is who I know, and this is what I know they're bringing in this specialist act, right? For example, right? And I would suggest names based on that, right? So I wouldn't necessarily say there's I mean, that's a one primary choice, or primary what they call it, clause I would have. I mean, just for diversity's sake and variety's sake, right?
Yeah.
But apart from that, I'm much more of I love to work with a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So actually, related to this, maybe it's a tough question, I don't know, but do you find it challenging to build your own identity as a DJ when you need to play so much crowd pleaser, and there's like so much music that people are expecting and requesting, and you need to have
building your identity? It's much harder, trust me. It's much harder to build your identity, because especially if you want to be a club DJ.
Yeah.
If you're a club DJ, and again, it's all commercial based, so you're playing the hottest music, you're playing music that is hip and all that, and you're forgetting about the type of brand you want to be. What's that guy doing? my bad. You're forgetting about the type of brand you want to build, right? And as a beginner DJ, sometimes there's certain types of music that you enjoy, but you just don't find the avenues to play that, right? Or you don't find the venues or the avenue to play that, right? So it's harder for you to build as a brand. The only thing I can say is that you can build, I mean, based on commercial and where you're known, right? You start to play your own shit, right? Or you start to host your own parties, better yet, right?
Yeah, that's where I was going.
Exactly. So it's much easier to just do that. Just host your own parties, and play your own shit, and let people appreciate you for what you're bringing to your own parties, right? Because they know that when they see your name there, they know what they expect, right? They know that you can drive straight down. I think we're going south.
Oh yeah, I'm just driving
around.
Yeah. So actually, with respect to your identity, what was your motivation in the very beginning to start playing music?
Oh, okay. So I used to listen to a lot of radio DJs growing up, and there was this radio station which I eventually worked at as a DJ in Lagos, Nigeria. It's called Rhythm 93.7. Shout out to my guys in Rhythm. I've been listening to Rhythm my whole life, ever since I knew how to listen to music. So my first inspirations for music were my dad, because my dad loved music a lot.
Yeah.
And listen to a lot of Afro beats, Lagbaja, Fela, that type of music.
I was listening to Fela this morning.
Right. So I got my first inspirations for music from him, and then I started to listen to the radio, and then I started to listen to these badass DJs on the radios that they had skills, right? You just know, oh my goodness, when you listen to these guys, you get a true appreciation for what DJing is, right? And then I listened to them, I'm like, how are they doing these things? And I thought it was just so, it's difficult, definitely.
Yeah.
But I just thought everything was just so out of this world, at that point, right?
Yeah.
That's sort of what started making me form my ideas to be a DJ. Maybe I could be a DJ because I love music, right? Maybe I could start to be a DJ. And those were my first few influences, being a DJ, right? And then obviously I started to be that guy, to just acquire software, do that and do this and that, and then I got my own first set of my music on my software, and I started spinning my own parties too. I started spinning parties for other people, then I started spinning my own parties as well in Lagos. So that was my first taste of, I'd say,
playing music for others,
playing DJing.
Yeah.
Right. That was my first avenue I got to DJ. Right. As for an identity, right? The first type of music that got me was old school, old school type of music, right? When we're talking about Fela, we're talking about R&B music from the 70s, from
Okay.
80s actually, and disco music from the 70s. Talking about the Jackson 5s, Gang, Frank Sinatra.
Wow.
I used to listen to all those type of songs, and I still have a deep appreciation for all those type of songs. Anything that is classified old school, which is, I mean, technically anything from
everything before you, basically.
anything before me, right?
It's a lot.
Is what I just have a deep appreciation for it, because I have a deep appreciation for the sound and the technology back then, how it wasn't so advanced as we have it right now, and it could still come up with beats like that. So I listen to, I have a deep appreciation for this man, Quincy Jones, for example. That was Michael Jackson's producer, and he was like a renowned composer, right? And I'm like, okay, with the little you had, you came up with this much, for example.
Studying in France.
Wow, he did. Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And then that's one of my first like the basis for appreciating music, for example, right? And then so my identity is basically, I want to make you, I feel like I'm crazy in my head, but I don't know how to dance and I don't know how to sing, but I want to see you crazy as well, right? I have this idea of being crazy, and I want to see you crazy, and the only way I can make you crazy is through my music as a DJ, right? So I'll tell you a story through my music that is fun, that is hype, no matter what I play, right?
I'm gonna say something. Yeah. I'm gonna say something. Is when you say I don't know how to dance, I don't believe this, because I tell you what. I have this theory that me coming from, I'm a dancer first, right?
Yeah.
Coming from the dance industry, coming from dancing, I realized something when I started DJing is, if you take a spectrum between dancing and playing music, there's two disciplines that mix music and dancing. One is closer to dance, is tap dance, because you're making music and you dance, right? And DJing, like scratching and everything, is closer to dance. It's closer to music, but it's still dancing, because you need to have this rhythm and to have those movement with your hands. You need to understand a little bit of dancing to be able to DJ. That's my belief, right? And for me, it helped me a lot just learning to scratch, just because I know how to dance. You know what I mean? So
rhythmic scratches.
Yeah, you definitely need this, and I think everybody, who DJs is a little bit of a dancer somewhere. So it's just the seed, and eventually it grows if you make it.
I actually understand that theory. It's just, from my point of view, I feel there's a difference between moving your body and actually dancing, right?
Yeah.
Dancing is rhythmic movements to a certain type of beat, which means for each beat that comes, your body has to respond in a certain way, right? And it should be at least consistent enough to see that for people to see that you're dancing, right? For it to be classified as a dance, right?
I don't know. I think people have formatted a lot to see to think what dance is. There's a really big dancer. You probably don't know him. His name is Angelo. He's one of the guys who created house dance. Shout out to Angelo. He says there's no bad step. They're just new steps.
Okay, I guess I have hope now.
There you go. There's a TED talk from a French dancer. Well, it's not subtitled, so I won't be able to send it to you. But he says everybody's a dancer, and there's three types of dancers. There's good dancer, great dancer, and there's disconnected dancer. Disconnected is everybody, can do moves, but they didn't connect their mind to their body yet. It's because we live in a world where everybody is like centered around the mind, right? Around your brain, and you think things first, and that's why it's so important, like the exercising part, like to put yourself through exercise is so important, to connect, to still feel your body, because like everything is potentially intellectual in the world we live in right now. Yeah. Sorry, just a little thing about dance.
So I would say maybe I'll probably say I'm a disconnected dancer.
I don't know, you tell me.
I mean, from what you just described, have to think it first before you move it, right?
Yeah.
And the process of thinking, you skip a beat, and you're kind of moving off beat now. You catch yourself when you're moving off beat, and then you have to go back on beat. So you're thinking a lot.
Yeah.
As opposed to someone who just moves their body at will to the beat, right? Well, I mean,
There's
from what you
definitely
just there's hope, right?
There's hope.
It's nice that they're all what's the word? They're all involving with this the explanation you just gave, right? Because I wouldn't classify myself as a dancer or a great dancer at all.
Bro, I've been teaching dance since I was 19, so I've seen people evolve through dance who thought they couldn't move at all to like being able to actually do something. There's definitely there's something going on here. Yeah, so I had another question. Do you recall, well, that's my personal experience, but do you recall like any major moment in your life related to music where you felt like your ear evolved? You know, like you started hearing stuff that you didn't before. I'll give you an example. I used to listen to house a lot. Actually, I used to hate house because in Paris there's this electro. Electro come from France, right? If I'm not mistaken. Electro, like all the David Guetta, all that stuff. They have this movement, this branch of house, and I used to hate it so much. The reason why is because I didn't know how to dance to it. And one day I was more into hip hop at the time. One day I went to New York, and I took this class randomly following a friend, and it was a house class, and I didn't know what to expect. And that thing blew my mind, and so I started dancing house. And a few years later, I went to a class with this same teacher. Shout out to Brian Green, one of the creator of house as well. And he broke down a choreography, and he was marking certain instrument that I didn't hear before. And he really pushed us to try to listen and to mark and to let's say dissect the music to kind of separate the instruments in your mind, right? And that's for me like a key moment that made me feel like my ear evolved a little. You know what I mean?
Well,
that's a tricky one.
I would say it's tricky and not. I would say where my ear evolved was, like I described before, my special appreciation for old school music, right? How music could be made in a different way. Because obviously when I started to listen to music, there was the music in the Y2Ks and the music in the late 90s and music in maybe the early 90s as well. And then there was old school music before me, right? And what was classified as, what was disco back then, what was hip hop back then, what people classified as hip hop, and the different sounds from the different cities, right? That was a different level of appreciation for music for me. The next one would be, I think you also just described it, would be house, right? Okay. House was, when I started to listen to South African house music, I was like, wow, this music is so energetic. And Nigerian music is energetic as well. But there's a certain thing to South African house music and com music. Is it G-com? G-Q-O-M? Yeah. That's how it's pronounced. Com music, right? And you listen and you're like, you can't just do without tapping your shoulder or bumping your head. It's the type of music you listen to that you don't think twice about before you dance, right? You just move, right? And that was a different level of appreciation for music for me, right? The next one was soca. Okay. I don't think I've actually ever seen any type of music as energetic as soca is. Really? Yeah, I don't think so. Because the way it's just soca music in itself, it's when you go to those rave parties for soca, especially during Caravana, it's so much energy. So much energy. I was like, wow, there's this set of people as well, right? And obviously coming down to Toronto exposed me to all of that as well, right? I started to listen to house music when I was in Nigeria, but coming down to Toronto was that exposure to the music from the Caribbeans, right? To soca music. I wouldn't say it took my thought level my thought process for music to a different level. Yeah. But I would say that it exposed me to something different, something I didn't know about. It exposed me to a different type of energy for music, right? So those were my three major points. Electro music, I listen to some sort of it. That is also very, very energetic, right? It's like Maybe because you're used to this type of music, right? You're like this type of music, and you're like, okay, what's this guy saying?
So hold on, but so you discovered soca when you moved here?
Yeah.
Really?
Discovered.
So that must be that. I know that feeling. You discovered this new genre of music, and you're like, holy shit! Like this is a brand new world.
Yeah.
It's like learning a new language,
Absolutely.
right?
I knew dancehall. I knew some soca songs, but I didn't know there was soca. It was branded as soca, right? You knew the Machel Montanos. Coming from Nigeria, you knew the names, but you just thought they were just all in one reggae, dancehall, maybe it's just a type of. You never just knew there was a new genre called soca, right?
Yeah.
And then when you come here, you get exposed to all the soca artists, right? Kes, all the guys, right?
Yeah, it's a great feeling to find this new, like you discover this new room basically in music, and you're like, shit, there's so much thing to learn right now.
There's so much to learn. It's not just I shouldn't be caged with a certain type of music. I have a reputation for a certain type of music, but I shouldn't be caged to just one type of music. I want to know all there is to it because I love music, right? And that's a foundation for me being a DJ. And the more I get music from 70s, rock and roll too, right?
Yeah.
You go to certain spots in Toronto and all the requests is rock and roll, right?
Yeah.
They just want to listen to rock and roll or country music. And I mean, hey man, it's a different type of music. You get exposed to music music from different type of cultures as well. Italian music, Suave Mentes, right? The Latino music, and you're like, okay, it's a different type of vibe, right? And that I mean, on a regular basis, I get that aha moment, right? You get that light bulb ding. And you're like, this music could be like this, right? And you start to think back on how this music evolved to what it is today. And I mean, I get pretty intellectual with music, but I don't want to, I don't want to expose you to my craziness with music.
Do expose. That's the goal, man.
But yeah,
I mean, like you seem to be a very open, a flexible type of person from like the beginning, right?
Yeah.
Since you were educated by your father with respect to music, but do you find that having to go to all those different genres of music kind of like extend this curiosity and adaptability, I want to say, like you feel more flexible, like, and more curious, and is it something you take pride of, to just be, having this curiosity?
Absolutely. I think that's part of my brand as well, right? The fact that you can look on my SoundCloud page and you won't just see music from one type of genre alone.
Yeah.
You see music, you see different genres on my SoundCloud page, and I'm still trying to even put more there, right? I'm that type of person. I'm that type of DJ that just wants to do different. I want to do more, and I want to be exposed to a lot more. I'm very, very curious with music, right? I want to listen to what was in South Africa in the 50s, right? I want to listen to what was the earliest forms of what would be considered jazz music, right? The New Orleans jazz, the Chicago jazz. I want to listen to South African music, the Brazilian type of music, right? I want to listen to like when the slaves moved there, what the type of beats they were listening to, or what the type of beats that they came up with, and all that. And I definitely want to be exposed to music, and I would definitely say it's not every type of music that I like, right? But I love to be exposed to it, right? So I have that curiosity in me, definitely.
Do you remember? Do you have this experience of like music that you didn't like in the beginning and that slowly grew on you? Like house for me, like I didn't like it at all in the beginning, and something happened in my life, and slowly I started really enjoying it, and now that's potentially like the music I listen the most.
Okay, funny story, right? You know what hip hop used to be, and you know what hip hop is right now, and at different stages. I mean, every 10 years there's been, let's just say it comes more frequent than that, but there's been a rebranding of hip hop, right? So when that rebrand is to start, for me, I hate it. Right? I'm like, hey, I'm used to Tribe Called Quest. I'm used to Jam Master, Jam Master J. I'm used to Tupac and Biggie. I'm used to those guys. Why does Soulja Boy have to come and ruin all this, right? And Soulja Boy came, and I'm like, we're doing the 2 steps, and obviously it grows on you, right?
Yeah.
And hip hop becomes that, right? And the Migos come, and you're like, okay, what is this? And you're like, okay, I really don't like the fact that they're rapping too fast in the songs.
Yeah.
Right? And you're like, okay, now this, you don't like it. I don't like it at first, but it starts to grow on you. So I think that, I wouldn't say there's any genre of music that I hate has grown on me, but I just don't like I'm not the type that has become really accustomed to the rebranding of hip hop as a whole, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'll mention hip hop because I know that has happened to me more often than not, right? You're like, okay, I used to know this, and this just came in. This is what this is gonna be right now, right? So it's like that, right? For me.
Anything like you really, really don't like you don't want to hear about that music.
It's tough, man. That I really, really don't like. That's tough. I'll listen to anything, man. I'll listen to any. I'm the type of person that'll be on the road trip with you, and you put on anything, and I'm not objecting to it because I want to listen to it.
Well, personally, I would say that I can't stand commercial music, mainstream music. I can't. I would leave a restaurant. I'm serious. Like I've done that.
Because you're playing too much of mainstream.
Or like if I can't stand the music in a restaurant, I'd leave. And I like it personally. I like any type of music, but I like the good one. Like when it's too engineered, you know. I understand, you know, when you're a teenager, you like the trance, you like the.
Yeah.
You know, when I listen to like a good example is this old wave of dance music back in the day, like the Dr. Alban and all that.
Yeah.
This was like I listen to this today. The only thing that I appreciate is the memory from back then, right? Because you know it was like it was fashionable at the time, and everybody liked it, and you know you want to fit in or whatever. Like it grew on you, and you like it. But today, like Spice Girls, you wouldn't listen. Like I wouldn't listen to that shit today, but I liked it at the time, you know. And
what's your brand of really like what don't you like in the song? Is it just because it's new, or is it because is it a certain sound you're looking for in the song, right? That you appreciate as a DJ? Or?
No, it's just like now that I have a better culture of music, I understand what's rich. You know, it's like when you discover gastronomy, and then you look at McDonald's and you're like, nah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's mostly like that. But when you're young, you like McDonald's. You know, it's
like
my god.
Yeah.
You know, like you like this easy taste. You know, that just activate your brain. That much sugar. You know, you think it's life, but when you start having a better taste, like a more complex appreciation for food, and I think it's the same thing. It translates to music too. Once you get appreciation for complexity in music, and you know, like, what about like classical music?
Classical, I don't hate. I love. Actually.
Yeah.
I don't hate.
You don't hate.
I don't hate it. I just feel there's a certain
double negative.
There's a certain point you want to play it. Right? It's not.
Oh no! I'm not talking about playing it. I'm talking about listening.
Listening
to it.
Yeah. Like, actually, there's a certain point you want to listen to classical music, right? Because I feel music for me is associated with moods, right? You can change up your mood, allow the music change up your mood yourself, right? Like you can dictate that with music, right? And there's a certain mood associated with different genres of music, right? So there's a place for every genre of music, actually. So I love classical music, right? I wouldn't say I can mention 5 artists, but when I hear it, I hear it. Like, I know what it is.
Oh, right? Come on, try it. What artists do you know in classical music? There's a bunch of obvious, right? Mozart, etc.
Mozart. I mean, yeah. I wouldn't say it comes to the top of my head.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm a huge Tchaikovsky fan. I love Russian classical music. You know. And shit, I was gonna ask something, I forgot. Anyway, so go back to the DJing. What's coming for you right now?
It's coming for me. Obviously, we're doing this party together next week, right?
Yep.
Sky Bar Hotel X.
Shout out to Perle Noir.
Shout out to Perle Noir Entertainment. If you're in the city, be there next week. That's Thursday. What's the date for next Thursday? 21st?
22nd.
22nd.
Yeah.
So when the party's at downtown Toronto. We got the Wizkid concert March 29th.
Oh, you part of this?
Yeah, I'm the concert DJ for Wizkid.
Nice.
We got that. There's a Y2K party coming up for me. So for me, parties these days, I think I've transitioned from the every week club DJ to this is where I want to be at right now, right?
Yeah.
Type of DJ. I want to play at this type of parties, this brand of events, which I can much more express myself. Back to what we were saying in the beginning, right? Which I can much more express myself with what I like as a DJ, right? Not with what is commercial, right? And so these are the kind of parties I get on these days, right? So yeah, those are the three main events that I would say is coming up for me. Also, I'm working with my brother. Shout out to OAB, Dolo and Boogie. Those are two really dope rappers in Toronto, and we're coming up with some music really soon, which I would produce, right? And
also, you produce too?
Well, yes, not to the level which I want to, but yes.
Oh, yeah.
And it's going to be a fuse of African house, African music, and rap, right? And I'm looking forward to how that's going to turn out. Expect new music from me. Expect new mixtapes from me as well, right? The summer is coming, whether we like it or not, even though it's cold as fuck. But summer is coming, and it's mixtape period, right? So we need to start figuring out what type of mixtapes. Next mixtape for me will be house, actually, because I've been postponing making a house mixtape till my song drops, right? Because my song's gonna be a mix of house. So I want to drop the mixtape I want to drop the song on mixtape, right? So my next mixtape is definitely going to be house, because I think I have a growing house followership in Toronto as well. Right?
Yeah.
And I want to be able to please those set of people as well with what I have. So I'm developing my playlist and my house playlist as well.
And how do you see yourself growing in this business? Like, I'm asking this because like I told you, like, I'm a special case because I do that on the side, and I stay away from the club industry. But like my goal in all those parties I produce is I want to switch people's mindset and like trying to consume something, to consume like an event where they come just to drink and everything. I want to switch the mindset from this to going to a DJ performance. You know what I mean? So then nobody come to do requests in my jams. You know what I mean? So anyways, I was just and that's kind of my goal, and I was just wondering where are you heading?
Well, I guess to a certain extent we're heading in the same direction. I just would like to do it for so many other people, right?
Yeah.
So much more events, so much more other people. I want it to be a point where you're calling DJ Damiger and you know what he's bringing and what you expect, right? And I see it being in play for many of these DJs, many of the old school DJs that we know. So one of my favorite DJs is DJ Jazzy Jeff. Shout out to DJ Jazzy Jeff. And when you're calling Jazzy Jeff to a show, you know what Jazzy Jeff is bringing.
Yeah.
Jazzy Jeff is coming to educate you, right?
Yeah.
He's not playing Wild Thought.
Yeah.
He's playing what came before Wild Thought, and then he will play Wild Thought, right? So he's educating you because you think he's going to play the hip songs, but he's going to play the songs from the 70s and transcend towards the 2000s, right?
Yeah.
So I want to eventually get there, right? I want to eventually get to that space where And I obviously, like, I think this comes with age as well, right?
Yeah.
The older you get, the more type of music you're exposed to.
Yeah.
And the more you can say, okay, I was there when this type of music was played, and I can bring it back if I want to, and I still entertain you, right? So I want to educate. I want to say with the distinction that I can educate and entertain at the same time.
Yeah.
Right. And get to that level, and hopefully do it at a concert. The concerts you come these days, obviously it's artist related, mostly commercial music, but you want to do it at a concert of 1,000 or 5,000 people, and they're all there to come to listen to what you're educating them about, right?
It's funny because it's cycle, because when you think about it, DJing started with disco, right?
Yep.
And before that, people needed to go to concert to listen to music, yeah. Right? And at some point, the concert industry kind of died because it was so much more expensive to book a band to have music than to just go in a room with one DJ, yeah, with one guy playing some records, mm-hmm. And now the goal for like so many DJs to actually play in a concert, which is kind of ironic. Because
the thing is, you as a DJ, and how hip hop evolved from disco to hip hop as we know it today is because there was a breakout, right, from what they were hearing at the 70s parties, right, at the discos, and to what the DJs were playing, what the original hip hop DJs, the Cool Hercs, the Grandmaster Flashes, right? They just used to take these disco records and play one section of it, right? And then that's how hip hop started, right? But it wasn't everyone that was pleased with it, right? It wasn't everyone that was with it in the first place. It was just a brand of people, and that's how they were able to start from small, and then it got big, right? The first few artists we used to entertain from the block parties, and then they eventually got to the concerts, because the goal as an entertainer is to be heard at the end of the day, right? You know what you're bringing, but at the end of the day, you want as many people to hear what you're bringing, what your brand is, the type of music you have, be it you being a DJ, you being a country singer, you being a high hip hop artist. You just want to be heard. That's it, right? That's why most of this media platforms would appeal to many artists and DJs today, because it just gives you an avenue to be heard by much more people, right? So at the end of the day, you want to do it from small to big, and maybe even take it back to small, right? Yeah,
it's funny because at the time, especially for hip hop, DJs were educating. Well, it was the disco era, but they were educating the crowd with playing old music, because at the time, like, you didn't have streaming or anything, so music kind of disappeared. You know, it was all on vinyl, so they were pulling back those old vinyl that nobody was listening anymore. Only, like, you know, dads or grandfathers, and they were like replaying it for the younger. So that there's like a really strong aspect of education here that I find interesting. And also, I wanted to ask you about this. Like, do you think that? Do you think it's because at the time, like even Cool Herc nowadays never shares any names of the song he was playing, you know? And I find it like you can't do this anymore. Like, people are fucking Shazam. Actually, you know, I take pride of having a lot of music that you can Shazam. I love that. I love that. And you just find and people are just there, you know, like in the corner trying to Shazam your music. It's hard now. He
does it that way because he wants to keep it exclusive. He wants to keep the story to himself. Right? He wants to be the one to be able to tell that story, because
you want people to come, right?
You want people to come, but at the same time, you want to keep it as exclusive as possible. You know, you're the father of hip hop. You know, the first DJ that started playing hip hop, and there are a lot of diluted stories of hip hop these days, right? But at the end of the day, you want to get the first. If you want to get the true taste of what the first, first set of hip hop parties were like, you go to a Cool Herc party. So he keeps it exclusive like that. And I mean, I don't blame him, because he has a brand to keep as well, right? He has that brand to keep. And most likely when you're going to a Cool Herc party, if he still plays any parties these days anyways, you're probably not bringing your phones. There's no Shazam, sir.
Do you share your music when people ask?
When DJs ask,
Yeah. Or like even like people in the crowd, like when they
Yeah, like what song is playing right now? Type of question.
Yeah.
Give it to them, right? Like it's music is to be shared at the end of the day, right?
Yeah,
at the end of the day, part of your job as a DJ is not just to play what is commercial, but it's to play what is up and coming, right? For people to listen to, right? And if someone doesn't know about the song, then you know your night is getting successful, right? Because you're playing music that not just commercial music that everyone enjoys, but music that is enjoyable, but people don't know.
Yeah.
Right? And that's where the education comes from. An aspect to the education, right? They play music that people don't know, and they come into you asking for it, and you're doing two things. You're exposing the artists that actually sang or recorded the music, and you're doing a great job as a DJ if you can actually figure out the type of music that'll make these people dance and people not know about the music.
It's also about how sensitive you are, to what people, what you observe from people. I have a last, almost at the end, but do you have any funny stories of like something you saw, like the worst thing you saw from a DJ, like performing in front of you? I have this memory of going to this bar to spin in that bar, and then I was watching this DJ, and it was going on and on and on, like playing all those bangers right before we started a set. And then he stepped away from his laptop and realized he was playing a mix that he did at home. That kind of stuff. Like.
Oh my goodness, that has to be one of them. That has to be right up there. Like, I hate it. Personally, hate it when DJs playing mixes at parties.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, like that gets me. I just like, oh my goodness,
So do you have any funny story like this that you experienced?
I guess you spilled it all for me, right? But I've had DJs' laptops fall off.
Oh wow.
I've had DJs' equipment's being tripped from the table down to the floor. I've seen all those type of and I've had a really drunk DJ. That's the first lesson for DJing. Don't be drunk, right? I mean, be tipsy enough to know what you're doing, right? But don't be drunk. And there was a drunk DJ that, I mean, he wanted to entertain, which is good, right? You want to DJ and dance at the same time, and I mean, do something, perform, right?
Yeah.
And so he wanted to perform, and I was like, all right, cool. Play the music, perform, do what you do. But he was getting too hype. And I think he was getting too hype for the comfort of the party goers, right? The people, his crowd, right? And I was like, I know, like, there's a certain level to which you want to be hype as a DJ, but you shouldn't be so much, like, too much hype that everyone's like not able to feed off your energy anymore, right? And okay, this guy's being ridiculous right now. And that was ridiculous to see, and he ended up not too well for the guy because I think his what I saw, his laptop, he tripped his own laptop. Like his set, his controller that he brought, everything ended up on the floor.
Oh shit.
And it was a bad night for him, and I don't think he half realized it by the time it was done, right? Because he was so drunk, right? And I was like, yep, you don't want to be drunk, DJ. You don't want to be that
and
guy.
Everybody's filming. This is like one of my other friend DJs. Like we share so many videos of like people, those videos where the control is not even plugged in and the guy is just going at it. There's so many things like this. So funny. And I find that funny that now DJs are just like dancing on the stage, not even like playing anything like this. I don't know, man. It's a crazy time right now.
Love signs and dancing, and like the popular thing Russell Peters says is like, because Russell Peters is a comedian and a DJ at the same time, right? He says, so if you're doing the love signs and doing all that, how are you DJ? Like, what hands are you using to play the music if you're all the time dancing? Like, I feel there's a point in time, like, I think you should perform. Like, as a DJ, I would love to perform. I would love people to feel my energy, because if you're starting a party, the first type of energy people would feel would be from the DJ, the DJ, right? Because you're this primary source of entertainment for the night, right? So you want people to not just feel your music, but feel you at least moving to your music. That's what they see, and they're like, they take a cue from that, and then they start to dance too, right? But not overdo it, right? Like, not step I mean, you can step away from your set and take off your headphones and dance a little bit just to throw the crowd, but not do it all the time, right? Like not take away from the essence of the art DJing itself. Right?
Yeah, you need to find the sweet spot.
You will need to find that sweet spot. You need to find a spot where everyone is like taunt, and maybe they're now expecting you to come dance with them, right? Like, so you keep a song playing, and then you announce to them that, hey, this song's gonna be playing for now, and I'm just gonna come rock with you guys, right? And then you go dance with them, and then you time it in such a way that after 2 minutes you're back at that set, right? Or after 1 minute you're back at the set, DJing again. Yeah. You just don't want it to be. You don't want to take away from the art of DJing, and that's what I wouldn't like to see a DJ do, right?
Yeah.
You don't want to be so commercial. You don't want to be. You. It's not every DJ that knows how to scratch, for example.
Yeah.
But I mean, scratching comes with the levels, right? It comes with. It's not the. It's not the first set of things you master as a DJ. It's probably learn how to mix, learn how to beat juggle, and then learn how to scratch and get a rhythm to it, right? It's not every DJ that knows how to strike, but at least know how to do what you do well.
Yeah, definitely.
Right? As a DJ, if you know how to mix properly, know how to blend in between two sets and two songs, all that stuff should be primary to you as a DJ for the night. Because I don't like the fact that clubs are really commercial. I don't like the fact that people come to listen to the music and not the DJ. Right?
Yeah.
I actually absolutely detest that, actually, because the DJ is the music.
Yeah.
You are the music, right? So without you, there wouldn't be this certain type of songs played, right? And that's the state of the culture that I don't like, right? And I just feel like anything that takes away from the art of DJing, because our jobs as DJs is to advance the art to the next generation and teach them enough to take it forward, right? And because we learned from other people as well, right? So anything that takes away from that art, I absolutely don't like.
Yeah. So before we end this really nice episode, what would you tell a new DJ coming on to like maybe not fall into all that stuff that you don't like?
Well, learn, love music.
Yeah.
1, 2, learn how to DJ. Learn the basics of DJing up onto the level where you're comfortable to do these things on your own, right? Learn how to mix. Scratching, yes, it's cool to know, it's cool to hear, but it sounds ridiculous when you don't know how to do it well, right? So rather just lay off it first, and then when you know how to do it well, you're good, you're Gucci. But learn all there is to DJing. Have a deep appreciation for the culture, not just for the fact that you want to be commercial, because a lot of people DJ just for the money, right? And
all the hype.
I'm not hating, right?
Yeah,
it's not. I mean, do you, right?
That's a reality, though.
That's a reality, right? It's all money for them, right? It's all money related, and I'm like, okay, cool. Like, that's your source of income. You gotta eat. You gotta provide food for your family. That's all good. But for the DJs that want to carry it forward, you want to learn all there is to it, right? I am still learning how to DJ, to be honest. Like, every day I hear something new from a DJ. I come to your set, I hear something new that you're saying, that you're playing, or I learn how you're maneuvering or how you're manipulating the turntables or the controllers, and I'm like, this is something new I just learned today, right? I'm listening to the radio and the DJ is doing something else. I'm like,
lower your ego, basically.
Lower your ego every time. It's not everything. You don't know everything, right?
Yeah.
Right? And you just have to. You have to be teachable. You have to want to learn all the time. The primary reason why I don't go to clubs often, but the primary reason why I would go to a club or go listen to a DJ that is coming to town is because I want to learn what I don't know, right? And it will take me a while to learn it, but as long as you can put your head down and focus and learn the craft, deeply learn the craft first, and then you can be whatever, right? You can do whatever you want, but I think you should appreciate the culture first of DJing. Relate with other DJs, right? Relate the people that came before you, right? Have an appreciation. Don't hate other DJs. Right?
Yeah.
That's another thing I see these days that I don't necessarily like. DJs hating on each other, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, it's like an ego thing for DJs, and I find that a lot. Like DJs don't necessarily hang out with each other that much, right? Apart from in the club setting, right? So it's an ego thing for DJs many times, but I don't think it should be like that. I think we should embrace each other as much as possible. Share music too, right? Because that's our bread, right? The music that we have, right? Share music as possible. Share ideas as much as possible. Share parties as much as possible. Get each other involved in events and grow together as well, right? And that's what I advise the next coming DJs an upcoming DJ to actually embrace. Just the craft for itself, right? Not the music, not necessarily. Love music, love the fundamentals of music, love the kicks and the claps, love all that, right? When you hear a song, you can break the song down into what it is, but also love what you do best as a DJ, right? And learn it for what it is, right? That's my major advice to DJs coming through. And I think success would come for you as a DJ when people understand that you're not just doing this for commercial sake. You're doing this because you absolutely love it, right? And once people start to see that love for that you have for the craft itself, they tend to actually then love the craft for itself, right?
There's a desire for it.
There's a desire for it, right? There's an authenticity. Most people that are going for Grandmaster Flash events or DJ Jazzy Jeff events or DJ Premier or all those guys that came before us, they're going because they have a deep appreciation for DJing.
Yeah.
And it's because those guys did it so well that they contributed to the craft too, right? They contributed to the craft as well, right? And they did it so well as not to take away from the craft itself, right? So that's why people would go for any of those parties to listen to those guys playing, right? And that's what I want to hear. That's what I want to hear as a DJ. And anyway, anytime I hear people saying, "Oh, I'm going to the club," or the music was shit, so I'm like, okay. All right, like I mean, you can't say the music was shit. It was shit to you. It doesn't mean it was shit to someone else, right? You can't be as commercial as that. You have to be open-minded. But a lot of people aren't open-minded. They just want to listen to what they want to listen to, right? And you can't blame them because
that's what they've been served all the time, right? That's what they've been served all the time.
That's what they've been served all the time, right? So that's
a large topic.
It's a whole new topic. It's a large topic for DJing. And DJing, there's certain aspects of the world where DJing is not actually seen as a profession. It's not actually seen as a career, right? DJing is something that you do, either the low lives do, or you do as a side hustle, or it's never a main gig for some in some parts of the world, right? So the more people have less. I mean, the more people not appreciate the culture, the more they have less expectations for what a DJ should do, right? And you add into the culture, you perfecting your craft, make people want to learn about what's this guy about. It seems there's more to DJing than just coming to press the play button at a party, right?
Oh yeah.
There's more to it. And I really try to tell people as much as there is, even though everyone cannot do it. But I want to put you in my mindset as a DJ coming to the party.
Well,
right?
I want to say it's tricky also. It's like a chicken and egg situation because a lot of venues don't care about having a good DJ anymore. They just want someone to press buttons just to have like a cheap DJ and sell alcohol.
Absolutely. So, it's all business for them, right? It's business related.
And that's the reason why lots of venues in the city are oriented to music are closing.
Yeah.
So anyways, Damiger, it's been a pleasure, man.
It's been a pleasure, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for coming out. It's so early and so cold, but
I know.
Hey,
I need to travel today.
I need to travel.
But thank you so much, man.
I appreciate it, man. Take care.